Hello everyone, this is Planckera, and welcome to my universe. So, we're back here today, and you know what? I wanna render a face, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go render the face, but I think before I do the rest of her body and stuff, I do gotta kinda get some stuff in the background wrangled. I'm probably gonna have to put a little bit more detail on that, get things a little bit more accurate, just to make sure that everything is placed correctly. Because there are some things that I'm still kind of not sure about. Like, I'm realizing I think I want the sun to be beaming on this hand and the side of her face, which would mean that this entire area right here needs to be empty, which probably means I need a bit of mountain over here, and just, you know, all sorts of little complicated things like that. That's okay, I'm gonna worry about that later, and I'm gonna render a face. Because I can. Sometimes it's that simple. I might hold off on getting her hair completely done. I actually think that the face itself is pretty dang close to done. It's just currently her soulless stare is kind of getting to me. So I figure I should do something about that. But yeah, I figured I could get my swatch. Just kinda, I don't know, finish up what I wanted to test on the face. It's very possible that I just need to merge the nose down. I think I will, actually, so I'm gonna take the nose off here. And I think I'm just gonna merge it right into the head and just make it part of it. When I was doing stuff in a softer style, I did use layers a lot less frequently. This is pretty much why I used to draw on one layer. I found it a little bit easier to manage some of the stuff going on there. Alright, so I just kind of want to finish some of the shapes of the face here. I do think that this side needs to be a little bit more in shadow than what I currently have. So I'm gonna kind of plop that in. At some point, I'll probably blush her cheeks a little bit more than I currently am, but, you know, I think that's a job for a bit later. And then I want this side of her face to be a little bit darker, and I'm probably going to put some more detail around her eyes and stuff. So yeah, today, you know, it's all about the science. I just kind of want to figure out where I'm going with this, because I'm not actually sure. I guess just to kind of explain it, mostly to myself from the top here. I used to draw very differently than what I do now. I used to like to do a lot of softer shading, and for some reason I just kind of stopped. I mean, I honestly think that my Vtuber model is probably the last really soft thing that I did, and even that is a little bit more cel-shaded than what I used to do. So I'm wanting to go back and remember some of the stuff that I used to do, just old techniques and, you know, good stuff like that, and try to just recall just what my art used to look like, and then kind of pull the old stuff into what I can do now, and all the new stuff. So that this way, I will have more options as I head into the future, and I'll just be able to do more and more things, and it'll be great. It's always good to be able to do more things. But yeah, I actually think that this looks pretty okay the way it is. I do want a little bit more detail around the eyes, but overall, you know, happy. I'm quite happy. Let's make her cheeks look a little bit chubbier here. Chubby cheeks are just... They're cute. They're a hallmark of cute. So I'd like to do that, and think one other thing that I'd like to do, I'm actually going to put this color that I pick on my swatch. I'm not quite sure what color it's going to be yet, but I'd like to get just a very, very saturated color here. I think it's going to be like a bright pink. Maybe somewhere like around there. I see people use this technique where they put just this very, very, very bright color around their shadow areas. And it looks really good, but I swear I can never get it to work. So I want to try again. And I think I'll do this on my extra layer too. Just kind of see what happens here. Yeah, see, I can never get it to work. That doesn't look good. Okay, maybe something a little more orange? No, still doesn't look good. Am I holding back too much? Does it need to be just the loudest color ever? Maybe with an airbrush? No. Okay, it's possible that I need to take this bright color and just like put it on a hard light layer or something. But basically it's something that I've been trying to incorporate for a long time, and I'm just never quite satisfied with how it turns out. Art is hard, basically. Yeah, I'll come back to it. But I think that this is fine for now. Let's detail around the eyes just a little bit. I think I will get rid of that pink blotch. There we go. And I'll just play around with her eyes a little. Get a little bit more detail there. I think I know what I'm doing. Just gotta believe it. It might look a little weird at first. But you can trust me. Don't worry. But I think if I do it right, it'll make the smile look a little bit bigger, and I think that'll be cute. But that's if I do it right, and I haven't put these kinds of details around the eyes in a long time, but I think that this is working. I still think it's pretty cute. And then a lot of the other details are, you know, kind of hidden under the hair, so I won't worry about them. But I think that's a reasonable place to leave off on skin tone for now. Everything is still a bit rough, but that's okay. It'll get better. Let's go ahead and put a little bit of blush on the cheeks here. I think I want it below the mouth. But I have to have it above that, so that means I have to have it above the mouth. Okay. The way I always do cheeks is I pick the loudest, like, a pinky red I can. And just lightly press with an airbrush. And just make things a little bit redder in some key areas. I don't mind making the nose a little bit redder than usual. She is probably a little cold here, and that's fine. Oh, I actually think it looks a little better without it. That tells me I probably have a value problem. Is there a way I can just color it without really messing with the values here? Not especially. Okay, so that's gonna be a shenanigan. Because I actually do like the way that this little bit of light is there. And this completely destroys it, makes it about the same value as the surrounding area. So I don't think I can do that. I can't use my usual techniques. Oh no. I'm gonna have to learn new things. The horror. Okay, well, I will come back to that then. I kind of want to do her eyes so that this way I can just get into wrangling the background a bit, because I really feel like that's what I gotta do. I gotta place all the animals. It just... I really want to draw a face. So I'm drawing a face. So let's get into the eyes then. Let's see, what do I want to do with those? That's the question, isn't it? I'm not quite sure what I want to do with the eyelashes yet, but the eye whites and her irises should be pretty easy. I don't think I have to change a lot for those. I just gotta make them a little softer. So I'll just do my usual thing. I'm pretty sure I already have a shadow color picked. I do. Nice. So let's see, I think I'll just make this like the part that'll be in shadow there. Put a little ring around the eyes here. And I do want these to be fairly hard, which is why I'm doing it with my hard brush instead of the soft brush right now. I will soften it a little bit when the time comes, but right now I just really want to get that in there. You know, it's driving me too crazy. I gotta shade the eye white. I can't tolerate it. Okay, so this is all the stuff I've got for snow. I don't think I have a specific color for eye white, but I'm pretty sure I can still just use this color and it'll be fine. Oops. I better lock the layer though, otherwise I'm gonna make a mess. Okay. There we go. Hello there, Bloodbullet. Welcome back. I see YouTube still hates you. Quite unfortunate. Okay, I still am a firm believer that YouTube secretly hates us all. You know, maybe even not so secretly. So I'm just trying to make these nice and soft, and I want to make her eyes look really big and really round. And I think this side is going to be just a little bit more in shadow than the rest, so I'm kind of dipping into the darker colors there. Then I'll leave a little bit of light spots for where I think I'm going to put the specular highlights eventually. Because you gotta have the shiny light parts when you draw anime eyes. It's just required. There we go. I think that looks pretty soft there. And now I can actually get into doing the eyes. How did your test go? Nice. Good job. All right, so I'm just going to start painting over things a little bit here and getting things the way that I want. Make everything a little bit softer. All right, well, good luck on your 2 tests tomorrow, too. I'm not quite sure where I'm going with this, but I think it's looking all right so far. I want to make sure it's not like overly soft, though. I'm a little nervous about doing that. Overblending. over blending is truly insidious. Oh dear. Man, what a type of puzzle to fail. Okay. I just wanted it to be a little darker up there, but I'm not sure if I like this color. No, I think it's okay, actually. It should be fine. I might take it back a little bit, but I can do that. And then I just kind of want to make the pupils a little bit less, terrifying. I want them to look a little bit less scary. Right now, I think they still look a little scary. Okay, and then I need to figure out where some of these lights are going to go. I'm going to put in the speculars right away. Let's see, how do I want to do those? I think I still got to keep them fairly hard. I don't think I want to soften their edge very much. Because even in real life, they are quite stark. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take the eye color and just bring it really, really close to white and then make it kind of yellowish. And my light is going to be coming from over here. I think that will still be true. So I'll just make them, you know, kind of big and round over here. What do Pippa's specular highlights look like? I should probably imitate their shape a little. Little at the top, very round. Yeah, round with two little things. Okay. So I will move it a little more to the top then. Like right around here, and two smaller dots out to the side. And then I kind of want another one over here, just because I personally like doing that. So something like that. And you know what? Her eyes looking considerably less dead. Looks maybe a little freaked out still. I still got more work to do there, but that's probably fine for now. Just make the specular highlights here glow a little bit. I just do that with a tiny bit of blur. And then I think I can light that up more proper later. Yeah, I'm still not happy with how it looks, but I really, really got to put this background together. Otherwise, I'm going to do a bunch of work, and then I'm going to be like, man, I hate it, and I'm going to have to go back and fix things, and it's just going to be a big mess. So I figure that I better get all these things where they belong here, now that her face isn't driving me completely crazy. You know, just moderately crazy. I can live with moderately crazy. So that's kind of where you gotta be before the picture's done. So, okay. So basically, yesterday what I noticed is that we have this cute little handoff between this deer and Pippa here, and it's all just buried in this cabin. And I decided I didn't like that. I decided I wanted the sun to be like right here, lighting up all of this right through here. And this is just going to be the big old focal point here. So I gotta really bring the light in there, which means I gotta lessen the trees right through here. I gotta lessen the mountains, and I gotta make sure that the sun is in the right place. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. And then after that, I want to refine the animals a little bit and kind of get them into good places, you know, where they're recognizable as deer and bunnies and birds and whatever other animals that I want. I think the cabin is in a decent enough spot right now. I can tell what direction it's facing, and that's really all I need for the moment. Yeah, kind of same with the mountains. But I feel like I gotta get the animals and everything else really good before I can fully render Pippa. I just had to get the face. I cannot live with a dying face. It makes me too sad. But yeah, I think she's facing about where I want. I'm pretty happy with the location of this. I guess I'll check with the crop tool a little bit, but so if any of you are familiar with the rule of thirds, that's where you kind of divide the picture into three quadrants on horizontally and vertically, so you get 9 squares. And then the points where they meet up are good places to put focal points. So I'm planning on using this one. Her head, you know, you try to keep your focal points on the lines. So I think I want to move her head a little bit closer to this line, but not have it be quite on it. And then I want her hand to be right about here. So that means I kind of got to move a bunch of stuff to the left here. I do have a composition helper installed here, so I think I'll use that. Can you see my things? Nope. Okay. Well, it's a script that I have. So I'm just going to bring that up. I am going to bring it in here. Golden section might actually work a little bit better for what I have. Okay. So I'm gonna bring in a few composition helpers here. I don't always use them, but when I feel like the composition is just being annoying, sometimes I like to use these as just quick references. So I'm gonna add a couple. Let's see. Okay, so this might give me some idea of where to place things, and you can see that I put in 3, so right now it's a little bit of a mess. So we got the golden section. I think this might be where some of the background elements go. I probably won't use it very much. I tend to prefer rule of thirds. It's very easy. And then I just put a little bit of golden ratio there, once again, kind of confirming where I want to put some stuff. So I think I'll have the deer leaning a little forward. Let's see. Yeah, golden ratio might actually work better for this. And that's probably fine. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to hide the cabin for now. I'll put it in later, and I'm going to hide the background trees. I want to get this sun in a good spot and make sure that the mountains are where I want them to be. Just thinking about it. Don't worry about it. So let's see. If I hide the mountains too, basically what I want is for this sun to be like the brightest point to be like right here. And then I think I'll make the sun itself just a little bit larger so that this way it gets into her face just a little bit as well. Okay. Next step. Mountain. So I feel like in order to emphasize this area the way I want, the mountains cannot be overlapping her hand or the deer's face. And is that where I want the deer to be? That's a question. Okay. Let's start moving some of the important stuff around. All right, and Pippa's arm is actually not connected to her right now. It's over here. There. Okay, and then I'm gonna kind of bend her arm a little bit, I think. Make things a little bit more relaxed, and kind of get these things where I think that they will be good. So that'll be like right around here, I think. And then after I kind of have everything placed exactly right, I can worry about kind of getting the pose back in order and whatnot. But right now, I think her hand right about there will be good. It's on the line, kind of near the spiral, and I don't think I necessarily want it, like, all the way over here. I guess I could. You know, maybe I should try that. Do I move her over here? Oh, I accidentally cut off her hand. Oh, well. Okay, so I'm going to go back and forth a bit. I'm going to turn off the composition helpers just so I am not relying on those too much. I really can't. Okay, let's see. I remember roughly where I have to put her. There or there. How centralized do I want her to be? No, I think I prefer her over here. So I'll use the spiral a little bit more for that. Okay. Sounds good to me. And again, I don't stick to these grids too hard. It's just sometimes when there's a lot to put together, it's easier to kind of use a little bit of help. And hello there, Protox. Welcome back. So sometimes it's just a little easier. And I'll plop the hat kind of right over here. And I think I want to change the deer's head a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little guy here. Going to lock the hat. And I just kind of want his head to be a touch lower. It'll look weird for a second, but don't worry about it. And now I want to give him some of his confidence back. I don't want him to look like super hunched over, so I'm just going to take... actually, you know what? I can just do it over here. I'm just going to take his back and bring it down too. Oh, wait. There we go. And that's probably fine. And I guess I should actually pick out colors for the animals and stuff, so I'll look up some references on deer and make sure that I have good colors picked. Because these are largely placeholder colors. I gotta get rid of a lot of my placeholders at this point. But there we go. I think he's looking pretty alright. His legs are maybe a little long, but that'll be something I kind of eliminate in just a little bit. But I think that's a pretty cute little handoff. And the good news is that because I brought her arm a little further back, what I could actually do with Pippa here, hopefully this means I don't have to go back and re-render a bunch of stuff, but I'm sure it'll be fine, is I can grab, like, all of this, and her arm, I suppose. Where is her arm? There it is. I kind of want to push things a little further this direction, and maybe let her lean forward just a little bit more. Just to kind of get her eyes and head over where I want it to be. Let me see. Can I move her head? Not easily, huh? Because I kind of want to get her eye right over there. I should be able to attach her to the rest of her body like this. And that should be close enough. And then with that, I can actually move the snowman over a little bit. Get him in a little bit more of a focal spot over on this line. I'm not going to center him. I think it's okay. Just to kind of have him over there just a little. Okay. I'm going to go fill in some areas just because it'll bother me if I don't. Let's go find her little shawl thing, her coat. Where did I put it? There it is. And I can just fill that right back in here. And then at some point I want to put like the backside of it over there, but I'm gonna worry about that later. Right now I feel like I'm trying to go like halfway on anime and a semi-realism, and I don't think it's working. So I'm gonna have to do something about that. I don't know yet. That's why I say, I got some stuff to figure out. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with it. Alright. So, since a lot of this is experiments, I've actually been looking at a bunch of art the past couple of days to kind of figure out where I want to go with this. But I'm still in kind of a choices are hard place, and I'm not sure if I like it yet. We'll see. But it's okay. I legitimately do think I have to get the composition figured out before I can do too much more. Because I think if I don't have the composition figured out, I will dislike everything I draw. And that's just always a really unfortunate place to be. Okay. So, mountains here. I'm actually considering just mirroring this. And then I kind of want the big one, like the really big one over here. This does mean I have the light and shadows backwards, but, you know, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. So I don't want the deer's head to be caught in there. We'll just plop some mountains through here. I want the entire area around the hat and her hand to be empty. So we just get a nice sunny spot there. Then I can put a little bit of mountain back through here just so it doesn't look too strange. And we'll get some big mountains up here too. So maybe something like this. This is maybe a little bit too much though. Okay, so maybe I don't mirror it then. Let's bring it all back to the way it was. Oh, I can't. Alas. Oh, that's fine. I'll just put it back. Where did it all go? Oh, I didn't do the group. Oh, whoopsie. That's alright. Okay. So yeah, I'll still keep the really big one over here. And then I have some stuff to fix here. The science didn't quite work out there. It doesn't always. That's why it's science, and not just drawing it. Because science implies that I am trying something, and that I don't know if it'll work or not. So I think I do want a big mountain, but I maybe need a shorter one right here first. and then I get the big mountain up there. Just so it doesn't look quite so strong. Just get a little guy here, little guy there, and I think that's pretty varied. So I think that works. But there we go. Now I have the light just shining everywhere over here. And I'm kind of hopeful that the really dark spot there, you know, will lead you up to the face and then over to the snowman. Let me turn off the composition, guys, and make sure that it's kind of doing what I want. It's not actually. I don't know, do I lessen it a little? Do I do it a little bit more like that? Where the hand is in the light. And then maybe I move the sky over just a little bit. Put it a little bit more on Pippa's face there. Yeah, that's a little better. Composition is very arbitrary sometimes. It is something that can be learned. Very, very much so. And I've been trying to pay much more attention to it lately, because I do think it is probably the next big thing that if I can really, really master it, then, you know, my art will just become so much better. So I've been really, really trying. Pay attention to just every little thing. Especially the parts that seem super arbitrary. Okay, and gotta try to wrangle the little peak that I put over here. I don't want it to be super strong, but I think that's pretty good. Just trying to separate the coat from the yellow background because they are very similar in color and value. So a little bit of separation there just to bring her out a little bit more. But I think I want her face to be very much in the light there. I'm even going to lift this up a little. All right. I'm gonna go look at the trees now. I think the mountains are good. So now I want to get the trees in there. And I don't really want anything blocking here. So I think I'm just going to erase this one. Let me make sure I have an accurate color here. Again, these are still placeholder colors that I kind of got to work out. I'm not even sure if I like the blue color in the mountain right now. But I want to think about placement a little before I start kind of messing with colors too much. I'll just let that kind of cut off the side there. And then maybe like little tree right here. Hello there, Meep. Welcome back. Nah, this side. This side. Yeah, that side. And I'll probably make these trees a little bit more accurate before I go back to drawing Pippa. I gotta get all the things down. But I can probably afford to have some small trees doing tree things back there. Okay, once again, I better make sure that I have accurate colors. We'll plop some more trees kind of through here. This one needs to be big, so... because it's supposed to be a little bit closer than some of these other trees. I think that's probably good. Okay. Yeah, that seems fine. So now the next thing I gotta figure out is where does this cabin go? Because it can't go there. Cannot. I don't hate there, but I don't know. Do I like it up against the snowman like that? I guess it's not bad. It does kind of have a nice dark contrast to the white of the snowman. It is just a little, maybe a little bit more covered up than I want it to be. Which says that I have a tree here that needs to move. Actually, I might even just be able to kill that one entirely since the cabin has its own trees. Nah, I need this one still. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the background trees. And I'm gonna start. I want a couple more little trees behind the cabin here. Okay, just to make it look a little bit more nestled in. And I'll probably move some stuff around this deer a little. Just so that this way the door is visible on the cabin. I'm not quite happy with that. I think I can just make them a little smaller. That might actually work. Let's find out. I'm trying not to catch the other animals in my selection here, but a couple of them is kind of inevitable, I think. Yes. Well, I am here at this time every day, so feel free to stop by whenever you'd like. Then you can come and watch me draw things. It'll be great. Yeah, and this makes it look less disproportionately large to this one too. So, you know, we just got some little baby deer here. It'll be very cute. Unfortunately, with the cabin over there, the path being over here is a bit weird, and I don't think I want to move it over here. So choices are hard. Well, let's see what it looks like if I move it to the other side. You know, maybe it's fine. Maybe it's actually fine. Nah. I like it better on the other side. I think. You know what I'm gonna do? I am gonna go put it back. I am gonna duplicate the layer. And I'm gonna move this over to the other side. And this way I can switch back and forth between them very quickly. And determine how I actually feel about things. This is the nice thing about visual art versus some other forms of art is... Especially when you're using digital medium, you can try things. And you can try lots of things. And you can do it real fast. And it's fantastic. And it's like, even just beyond the trying things, it's like I can just look and see what it looks like. And being able to do that quickly, like I don't have to do a bunch of work. I've been struggling with this somewhat with writing, because you can't do that when you're writing. The A/B testing is much harder, and it takes a long time to really see if things pan out the way you expect. And it's kind of unfortunate. Okay, and I'm just gonna cover up some of this, just so I can test things over on this side. This does leave the snowman in a bit of an awkward spot, so I'm gonna move this a little. But yes, I can very quickly try a couple of different things and see which one I like best. And I can see very, very quickly on whether or not something is working or not. So never be afraid of science. Never be afraid of science. It is very helpful. It will help you. Try all the things. Okay, there we go. So now this should let me just quickly test what I want here. I don't need this watch. And it actually got useful things out of us. The chemistry used to make mustard gas. Actually, if I remember... No, this is chlorine gas. Is that also... Basically, a lot of the stuff used for chemical weapons was first used to learn how to get nitrogen out of the air. And this is a big deal, because we were running out of nitrogen-based fertilizer. And figuring out how to do that, saved millions of lives from starvation, because now we can make food better, and we don't have to worry about running out of proper fertilizer. So yes, mustard gas was also a very useful science. Extremely. It's just pretty much anything you use for science can also be used to kill people. That's just how it is, unfortunately. Oops. Let's see. Well, yes, I mean, but, you know, stabbing someone is also a crime. But knives are very useful. Okay, no, this side is definitely better. Okay, cool. In that case, I think I'm going to move Pippa and a snowman over a little bit. And I'm going to get rid of that and see if I can just rotate my snow pile to do what I want. Yes, I can. Cool. This is gonna put some shadows in bad spots, but you know what? It's fine. I'll fix it later. As crimes go, not especially. It would gain me, like, nothing, and then things would just be on fire. And that is fun for maybe 3 seconds. So, no, not especially. And if I wanted to break things, there's way more effective ways to do that. Fire is pretty inefficient. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and fix the shadows on the snow pile right now, just because I think it'll bother me if I don't. Okay, and before I do that, I'm gonna move Pippa and Snowman over just a touch. Just so that this way Mr. Snowman is, like, not right up against the road there. And I know I just moved them there for reasons, but you know what? Things happen. I mean, you don't even have to commit arson to liquid fire. All you gotta do is light a fireplace. Or watch YouTube. You know, whichever you prefer. Okay. I'm gonna, like, lift him up a little. So, Snowman now slightly taller, just so it doesn't overlap with the path quite so strongly. There we go, and now I can get back to just doing some lovely shading here. I think I actually used this color for this, right? No, I don't. Okay, never mind. I'm wrong. What color did I use for that? Did I just pick one and not save it on the swatch? Oh no, it is this one. Okay, cool. Let's get that on there. Get things looking nice. Get the shadow of the snowman under there. Get the shadow from Pippa's feet under there. Not gonna worry about the bunnies yet, but I do want Pippa shadow to be kind of over here. Okay, and then I do need to adjust the back side of this a little bit. This side is now a little bit too high. And the other side is a little bit too low. Not surprising, I did just mirror this horizontally, so... Okay, and I don't think I need the original path. I like this better. So it is now just path. Okay. And I kind of want to adjust the shape of this a little, just to bring out the perspective a bit. Not quite satisfied. I also kind of wanted to curve back toward the cabin a little bit. Somehow I get the feeling you wouldn't know what it's like to be chased by the police. All right, there we go. Okay, and I think that fades into the background pretty nicely. And you know what? Because I hate having to chase this path so much to get its color, I'm add it to the swatch. It's just gonna go right there. I'm not gonna bother shading things too much right now. I'd have to think about it. Cause like it's not how I think about it. It's like, I think in general, if you're gonna go break the rules, you better know what you're doing, and it better be something that benefits you heavily. Let's see, where is this tree? No, I think those are mid-ground trees. This one needs to come over a bit. Oh no, there's way more effective ways to get money than robbery. I think that's a good spot for the tree. And let's see, where are the clouds? I forget where I put them. They were over here. Okay, cool. Now let's see. I'm just gonna lift these guys up a little. I'm not quite happy with where they are anymore. Just gonna plop them over there. And then I have another set of clouds over here that I will once again kind of raise and put into the... Oh yeah, there's many things. And I don't think money is the only thing to be gained. I'm also a fan of mad science. It's like, I wouldn't recommend doing it. I do think ethics in science is important, but man, is it disappointing sometimes. You can learn so much. Just kind of a necessary evil, unfortunately. Okay, and I want some of these, like, really small background trees to be a little further over. Okay, and I gotta turn off the swatch here in order to see how things are going again. I think I actually want this background tree to be smaller. How is science not fun? I mean, personally, I even enjoy just my little bit of art science that I do here. Okay. Yeah, this tree's got to be a little shorter, but I can use the mid-ground tree. Where are my mid-ground trees? I want to... color doesn't matter. And I can... Yes, it does. Okay, never mind. And I can lift this guy up a little to kind of fulfill the purpose that that background tree was. But now that the background trees are a little bit smaller, they will look like they're going to the background a little bit more. And that's all I really wanted to accomplish there. And I can even have some other little guys kind of hanging out over here and all that good stuff. Yeah, it seems pretty good. I think the space looks very spacious. And now this area is emphasized way more than it used to, and I am happy. I am very happy. Okay, I'm just making sure my layers are on, and now I need to do a better job of picking colors. I'm gonna look up a quick mountain reference here. I just want to look at the kind of blue that I want, and I should also have probably some layers, because right now I just kind of have everything roughly the same value. I mean, maybe someday. I'm currently just kind of having fun drawing VTubers, so I've been kind of rolling with it. And I know a lot of people like draw mascots of their fans and whatnot, which I might do someday. Basically, when I started here, I wasn't even convinced that anybody was going to come to watch, so I just kind of rolled with what I wanted to do. No, I don't. I do not watch very many things on YouTube. Welcome back. Feeling more ready for your test tomorrow? I am just here kind of perfecting colors. Because it is time. I think I made it a little bit too yellow. Let me see. Yeah, they still stay pretty blue, even in this context. So I think I made it a little bit too yellow. I'll bring it back over to blue. I think I kind of want a little more mountain to peek out through here as well. It is Planckera. I say it at the start of every stream. Well, good luck. I hope it works out. Nonetheless. That's okay. My stream doesn't have much chaotic energy. I'm more about, you know, the soft-spoken, making nice things kind of stuff. It's okay. Everyone kind of has a different way of dealing with things. And this is how I am choosing to handle my stream. I think this was my mountain color. So I'll go ahead and add this to it. And now I want another layer of mountains. Oh yeah, and I also wanted something up there too. So let's... I'm gonna have to hide the swatch just so I can get a little mountain up here. There we go. That should look pretty nice. Hello there, Bunny Bits. Welcome. I'm gonna add just another little sliver of mountain just right there. But now I feel like the hand is covered up again. So I'll just lower everything slightly. Although no, it's just because here it got dark somehow. What happened there? The sun should still be there. I guess it's not. Okay, I will put the sun there then. There we go. Get all that over there. Okay. Oh yeah, because I raised it up a little bit to be by Pippa's face. I am drawing a Vtuber. Her name is Pipkin Pippa. She's with Phase Connect. And she is a rabbit. And I am drawing her building a snowman with her cute animal friend. So right now I'm just trying to kind of wrangle the composition. There were certain parts of it that I just was not happy with. So I wanted to take a moment now that I've kind of gotten the main character largely figured out here, to kind of get everything working for me again. Okay. But yeah, I think I got the lights in a good spot. I think I'm happy with the mountains. I think I got the cabin in a good spot. It's nice and out of the way now. I think I'm happy with the trees. The area feels pretty spacious. I think I might put some more trees down here. Just some small ones. Those will have to be mid-ground trees, I think. Just so that they're kind of going where they need to be going. So kind of... Well, maybe not. I don't know. Because I don't want them to go up here. It cannot go past the mountains. Okay, yeah, they gotta be background trees. It's gotta be out of the way. So I'll just plop a few more trees through here. A few more trees kind of over here. And I think that this will be more convincing once I fix the colors. So, you know what? I'm gonna go with what I was gonna do before and start putting in some layers into the mountains here. just so that they're not all the same. Oh yeah, and the snow has to... The snow has to be behind this. But yeah, I guess I don't actually have that much room for mountain layers, so this should be okay. But yeah, now I got little foothills. So I think the next big thing is going to be figuring out where to put the animals themselves. I feel like I have enough trees kind of in the foreground here that this being a little clearing out in front of her little cabin makes sense. No, I think the next thing I'm going to do is get the colors on the trees proper. Yeah, I think that's necessary at this point. And I'm going to need a couple of different colors. So let's get the swatch. I'm going to have to go back and forth between hiding it and not. Just because I got to be able to see. I got to be able to see while I'm drawing this. Because, you know, this is composition, right? This is how the whole picture works together. So I can't really do that with just... with, you know, random blobs of color everywhere. I can't see properly when I have these random blobs just everywhere, getting in the way. Alright. So what I'm doing here is I'm kind of making the trees a little bit more blue, because that's what things do as they kind of fade into the background. And then the other thing that's going to be important for these trees, in particular, is just that... Oh yeah, no problem. I am honored to be background music, and I always, you know, I always say I set up the stream to be good for co-working. So watch however works for you. I see. Alright. But yeah, I want to get some layers of trees in there. And I think the big thing that's going to show that is a lack of detail, basically. So I'm going to keep these trees mostly silhouettes, and then as they start getting into the valley there's going to be some mist. And that'll look really nice. So I'm going to plop these into their groups, that this way I can make a clipping mask for the mist. And this way the mist will only be on the trees. Although, you know, maybe I don't want to do that, actually. Okay. You know what? I'm going to see if that's necessary or not. Because it might not be. Now that I think about it. Because, you know, maybe I'd want the mountains to look a little misty too. That might actually look really nice. And I'm just debating on what color the mist should be, so let me think about that for a second. I think my snow color will actually be a pretty good color for it. Just maybe a little bit more blue. Just maybe a little bit more blue. Okay, so let's try this. And then I just kind of want to fade everything back here. I'm using a very, very delicate hand here with my airbrush. And I just want to push those trees further into the background. So that this way it looks like there's going to be some nice layers of trees. Yeah, I think this is working really well. Okay. And I'm kind of going back and forth between looking at the picture and then looking at some photo references of what happens to trees as they start fading into the background. Like this. And I think I'm gonna put this on hard light, just so it's a little bit less white. Okay, and that's fine for now. That's fine for now. I think I want to get the trees looking a little bit more tree-like before I move on. So let me get the color. I'm going to add this color to my swatch, because I think this is a decent one. Tree colors will go over here, I think. There we go. So now I can grab that color whenever I want. And there's not going to be a lot of color variation here. All the trees are just going to kind of blend together. I might add just a couple of light spots from the sun. And that'll be my goal there. Okay, but the swatch is in the way. Gotta get rid of it now. And I'm not gonna take these to a final rendered state. I just really want to make sure that their shapes are good. And that things are kind of looking how I want, because right now, some of them are kind of ugly. And I think it's throwing off how I see the picture. But you can see that I am not being very particular about this yet. Not yet. Soon. Actually, probably not soon. But I get the feeling it'll be one of the last things that I do. And I actually don't think the background tree should ever get that tall. So maybe just right there. This bird is supposed to be on her shoulder. I'll move it there a little bit later. Okay, so this tells me that I want another mid-ground tree by her shoulder there. That'll be this guy, and he can kind of come up here. I'll make this one a little bit bigger, but there we go. This one, I think... that one's the cabin tree, right? No, it's not. Okay. You need to be fatter. You're further forward than some of these other trees. Okay, now I'm going to put the little bit of light that I want on the background trees. Like I said, only a tiny sliver. Just a tiny, 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 tiny bit. Where they're being lit, this way the trees can kind of separate. Okay. And I think that's about it. This one is a little bit too big. I'm gonna shrink him down a little bit. He can still come up above the cabin, though. There we go. It's funny, when I came in today, I figured that I'd be doing a bunch of stuff with Pippa's face. But then I looked at things and I was like, you know... I actually gotta know where things are going in the background before I can do any more. I gotta get the composition here. I think it's mostly that I just realized that I really didn't like how the cabin was overlapping her hand here. And I wanted the spot here to be a little bit lighter. It's just always funny how that kind of thing works out. I don't know, having the mountain not show there just makes everything look small is the thing. So maybe what I gotta do... I gotta move the trees over a little. You know, this is kind of the joy of being the artist, because, you know, if you decide that a tree is in the wrong spot, you just kind of move it over again, and it moves over. It has no choice. It must listen. You get to do whatever you want. Whatever's not working, it can be fixed. And whatever you say goes. So every decision is yours. I'm gonna move this tree over just a little. And then I have enough room for a couple little trees down there, too. So I'm just gonna pull my color off the swatch. I still have to hide it because otherwise it'll get in the way, but that's all right. Just plop my little tree here. And there we go. All right, and now I can have that mountain showing. So this way the mountain range does not look small. Have that mountain showing while still having everything I want around the hat doing what I want there. So there we go. Might be nice to have that there. I think I did at one point, and then for some reason I erased it. Okay, there we go. Those are some mountains. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna pick out some proper colors for the trees now. Again, I'm gonna go take a look at a couple of references just to make sure I'm happy with the choice. Just to make sure. I always like to have a pretty good idea of what I'm trying to draw. Because it's been a while since I've drawn trees quite like this. And I want to make sure that I light them properly. Okay. I think I know what I'm doing now. These are going to be my mid-ground trees, and they need to be a little bit more blue. And here there's going to be quite a bit more color variation because unlike these, when they kind of get lighter or just kind of disappear into the mountains when they get far away, these guys will actually get lighter as they get far away. So I want to kind of brush over them with my sunlight color as they start kind of blending in with a lot of background elements back there. At least the ones that are far away. So these ones are pretty far away. I guess I should actually perfect their color before I start doing this. Or not the color, but the shape. Yeah. That seems like a good idea, and I need to put the color on the swatch as well. There we go. I think that's a pretty good color. So now... Oh, I gotta get rid of the swatch. The swatch is in the way still, unfortunately. But here we go. I can start kind of getting their shapes right. Because, you know, I just drew this by going back and forth a lot. This was a placeholder. I'm still not going to fully render them. But I do want to kind of know where I'm going. I do want to know where I am going. I'm going to hide the animals for a second. I kind of feel like they're in the way a little bit too right now. But it's okay. They'll come back soon. They are important to this picture. So they won't be gone for long. But here, the trees will start getting a little bit more detailed. I'm gonna hide the cabin tree for the moment. That's a special tree. No, not the cabin itself, just the tree. There we go. And then I kind of want the little limbs of the tree to get a little bit larger and more detailed as things come forward. I'm gonna take another look at these kinds of trees again. This shape is very ugly, but it's fine for now. This will be the kind of thing that I kind of perfect once I start rendering things. And I don't want this to cover the path quite like that. Oh, good. It's actually not. I was like, wait, you're not covering the path. Okay. There we go. So it's all right if the trees are a little bit ugly for a little while. As long as I kind of have the gist of what I'm doing with them. I don't want to spend too long on this yet. I want to do just enough. Just enough that I know what I'm doing. No more, though. Once I know where I'm going, and once I'm satisfied with kind of their location and placement, I'm gonna move on right away. And then later, I can really dig in to the details. But I'm just keeping things simple right now. I mean, you can see I'm still only really going back and forth. It's just now I'm trying to pay attention to where the branches fall. And these trees are kind of overlapping a bit, and that's fine. They can do that. Okay. So now I'm going to get the cabin tree, which is going to be this color, but a little bit lighter and more yellow. Only a little bit. Just because it's going to have a little bit more of the sunlight on it. And I'll go ahead and move them over just a touch. And I think I'll make them a little taller too. A little bit bigger. Okay. Okay, I have to hide my other layers before I can get that color. That's fine. I don't really feel like adding it to the swatch, so I won't. I could if I wanted, but, you know, it's fine. So we'll just get this little tree in there, too. And I think this is the last of the trees for now. So now I can start going back here and kind of coloring some of the ones back here. These all need to be a little bit lighter, especially on this side. But the whole thing does have to be a little bit lighter in order for them to fade into the distance properly. And then on this side, we would get just a little bit of light here. But they will be more detailed. I'm gonna kind of show that detail a little bit here. But I'm not gonna go into it just yet. I just want to make it clear to me what's happening. So I'm just going over it with my airbrush a little. It'll be fine. This will all look very nice later. But you can see, compared to the ones in the background there that I did, where I put barely anything on them, these ones are getting more stuff. They're getting a little bit more detail, and they will have actual shadows. So I'm actually going to go back up to my swatch here, and I'm going to pick a color. I'm going to make a nice shadow color for these guys. And then I'll brush over it with that color in order to indicate shadows and whatnot. But first I got to find a color I like. A little darker, I think. There we go. That's a good color. I will light the cabin tree in just a little bit. So there's going to be like shadows over on this side of the tree and over in kind of areas underneath. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time detailing this. I'm just going to plop some things down, just the bare minimum to help me compositionally. This way I know roughly how these things are going to go. These ones will not get as much, but they will get a little bit. These ones are a little further away, so that their details will be a little bit less. But these, you know, the 3 trees in the front here, they'll get a little bit more. And I think that the really blurry trees I have in the front here, the foreground, they're a little bit too blurry, but they're fine for now. So I'm just going to leave it like that. So there we go. I should have some idea of the details there. Let's go ahead and get the cabin tree. And I'll give him some light as well. I'm just taking color from my light source and blobbing it on. There we go. That is sufficient information for the time being. Okay, next. I'm gonna work on the cabin a little bit. I'm not quite happy with its color. I'm gonna go look up a picture of a mountain cabin. And kind of pick one that I think looks really cozy and cute. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna do. So, what I'm gonna do... I think I want the roof to go the other way. I just picked something arbitrarily, but I think I do, in fact, want the roof to be going this way. And then I could have a little part coming out here. And we'll have a little patio thing going on, and it'll be great. This window no longer necessary. I think this cabin looks a little bit big. I think I accidentally made it look like 2 stories, which is not quite what I'm going for. So I'm gonna flatten the roof a little here. And then I want this part of the roof here to look like it's coming down. So what I want is a lighter color. So that tells me that I should probably pick a good cabin color before I get any further into this. So let's find a nice, cozy wood color. Just kind of a natural wood. I think somewhere around there looks pretty nice. I guess I'll go ahead and pick a shadow color for it too. This way I can draw the little hints of logs and stuff. And that'll be great. Oops. I did not mean to do that. Oh well. I accidentally hit the button there that resets your colors to black and white. It's fine though. Okay, I think I like this level of contrast. So this should be what I want here. Okay, and then I can add little hints of kind of logginess. So this way it looks like a little log cabin. I'll probably put some darker spots in, but that's fine for now. Now I can pick a roof color, which I think is going to be a little bit more of a bluey brown. So cool brown, I think is probably the word I'm looking for. Kind of desaturated a little bit on the gray side. So let's see. That looks a little bit blacker than I want. Let's see. I'm gonna go look at pictures again because color not quite right, and I'm not sure why. But there we go. I think I have a better idea of what's wrong now, so... Okay, there we go. I think that's about what I want. So now I'm actually gonna pick a lighter color here. So I'm gonna pick a yellow. Plop it down. That's a little bit too much, I think. That looks pretty good. And now I could have another, like, light layer right here. And if I play my cards right, I should be able to make it look like it's a part of the roof coming forward. It's a bit hard with the kind of perspective that I have here, so maybe I should just make the whole thing this color so it looks like it's sticking out a bit. No, that didn't really help either. Basically, to kind of explain what I'm trying to do here. Let's see, I'll just do it up top here. I have a vision, and what I want is a roof that is like this. And then it comes forward a little bit. So we have it like, you know, this. The roof is doing the roof things like this. It comes forward a little bit in the front. And then you got a little kind of part sticking out over here, kind of like this. So we got this part that's kind of coming forward. And then you got some pillars holding it up like this. And it's a little hard to get this kind of effect when you are not seeing the side. So I'm having a little bit of a hard time making this lighter part come forward. So, you know what, maybe I'll do something a little simpler. Maybe what I had before was better, even though... Just for this specific instance, just because I can't really show perspective very well here. Okay. So in that case, I'm gonna go back to kind of my original pattern. I'm gonna hide the trees for a second. Just so I can see what I'm doing. So I got the roof here. It's coming out over here on the side. And like this. So maybe I could have pulled off the other one, but you know what? It's a background element. This is fine. This is totally fine. This will still have a lot of cabin energy. It'll work. Okay. So once I kind of get the perspective on the roof the way I want it, I'll put the trees back on. There we go. That should be good. And then from there, I am going to pick kind of a similar color. In fact, I think they should actually be the same. And I'm going to put a decoration on it here. For now, I'll just paint it in the shadow color, but it's going to be like this. This is very cabiny. and then once it comes time to detail this proper, I'll go ahead and make those colors correct. What kind of door do I want? I think something just very, very simple will work. This is a bad color. I'm not going to use it, but I just want to get the shape of the door. And then I want to get the planks of the cabin looking all right. Okay, there we go. I think that this color for the windows are fine. We'll just have a nice cozy window there. I'm gonna push the door over to the side just a little bit more here. There we go. Okay, and from there, Yes, let us pick a nice door color. And I think I know exactly how I want this door to look. So I think I'm going to make it a little darker, but not as dark as the window. I'm just thinking about how I should do this. Okay, I'm gonna pick the color from here. I think that'll be good. And then I just paint it onto the door there. Okay, it ended up being darker. That's fine. Oh, wait, because I picked multiply instead of normal. Okay. And then for this color, it's not a bad color. I think it's actually pretty good. I just want it to be a touch darker and a touch more toward, like, blues. There we go. And now I can set my brush to multiply again, grab my purple, and put in some indications of little planks and stuff. Okay, so it'll be like this for now. I guess I'll put some texture just on the roof real quick. Okay. And I think that is sufficient probably for a pretty long time. Until I'm ready to kind of finalize it. I think I might want it to be just a little bit more blue. So I'll go ahead and add just the atmosphere color, which I'm using as like the mountain color. So all I'm doing there is I paint the whole thing and then I clip it and put it on hard light. There we go, just reducing the opacity until I got it looking the way that I want it. I thought it wasn't quite blue enough here. Kind of wanted it to fade back a little bit more, and I'm kind of feeling that way about the trees too, honestly. So I think I might do that with them too. So here we go, atmosphere layer, make it blue, clip, hard light, and then adjust the opacity accordingly. Okay, and if I'm doing that to those trees, I should do it to the cabin tree too. I just thought I picked the colors a little better than that, but I apparently disagree with myself, so, you know, it's fine. Okay. And I'd say that's that part of the composition wrangled. I want to go touch the foreground a little bit. Because I do think it's important. And what I currently have not working. So I'm just gonna delete it. I need it. It's very important. But I want to make sure I get good colors. And that I don't have things quite that blurry. So I'm gonna try to draw the trees properly this time. So we have like a full tree coming out here. And it's going like way up there. And it's gonna be blurry enough that we can kind of see through it. It'll be fine. I'm not really worried at all that I'm covering up so much stuff. It will be fine. And on this one, we only see the bottom of it. So there we go. I think those are pretty good tree-like shapes. Gonna plop a little bit more right there. And now I will go ahead and blur it. Just a little bit less than last time. I want to be able to make out the edge of the tree there. Okay, that should be good. And now I think they are covering a little bit too much ground, so I'm going to move them over just a little. But now this should look very much nestled and cozy. Like we're just peeking through the trees and seeing this adorable little scene unfold. And that's what I would like to be happening here. Okay. And then this is foreground, so I'm going to give them a little bit of light. I'll probably have to redo parts of this. It's fine. But I do kind of want to get things looking the way that they're going to look. So next, let's go place all these animals proper. I'm just taking a look around here. Making some choices in my head. Alright, I'm going to start with the easiest ones. And that's the ones directly interacting with Pippa. So we have this guy. I think his location is pretty good. I'll get colors for them a little bit later. Right now I kind of want to focus on placement. But yes, I think this guy is doing fine. So let's get the animals that are on her head. So we got this little guy on her head there. I have this little bird that's sitting on her shoulder. So he should be going like right here. And then we have this little guy down here that's going to be sitting on her foot. And I'll probably make them look a little bit more animal-like and start getting their shapes right. To an extent, when drawing a picture, especially a scene, I kind of feel like you have to tackle the whole thing at once. So you just kind of iterate through everything. That's what I'm doing here. So I got Pippa kind of looking a little bit better, cleaned up, and got her doing things that I wanted. And now I'm at the state where I gotta let the rest of the picture catch up. So this little rabbit is hanging out on the snowman's head. He'll get kicked off once the hat needs to go there, but, you know, he can sit there for now. Sit there and look cute. This guy was supposed to be placing a coal button onto the snowman, so I will move him over. I still really like the idea of him kind of leaning down, so I'm gonna lift him up a little. And I'll adjust his body accordingly once I start going in and refining the animal shapes. A lot of these guys got a little bit torn apart by all of this, but you know, it's fine. Okay. So let's see, we have this guy kind of hiding in the bushes in the foreground. I want him to do that. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer there. So I'm going to bring him just down a little bit there. And then there's like a bird doing the same thing over here, but you can't really see him anymore. So I'm going to move him over as well. I got a couple of little guys just kind of hanging out there. And then we got this little guy right here. I'm gonna kind of send him up here. He's like watching over the hill. I think that's a fine thing to do. This guy is supposed to be kind of underneath her. I'm not sure if I like that location anymore. So I might put him somewhere else. I guess he can kind of hang out at the base of the snowman. Right now he's like in pieces, but don't worry, I'll fix it. It'll be fine. This little guy, I guess, can kind of sit at the base of the path here. And sure, this little guy can be climbing the snowman. I'll just let him kind of... Yeah, he can kind of sit right there. I think that'll look cute. Okay. I think there were some animals out here, but I don't know what they're doing anymore. Okay, we're gonna mirror you horizontally. Kind of get you looking out at the scene, but you can still be hiding in the bushes. It's okay. It's a good hiding place. next? So at one point I kind of had a dog rolling around in the snow in the background, but you can't really see it anymore, so I'm considering moving it out to the foreground. But I feel like there's enough going on in the foreground right now. Well, let's see what it looks like. I'm still going to use placeholder color for now, so I'm just going to pick a random gray. And then I'll work out the colors that I want to use in just a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna go put him on the background layer, though. So maybe I should move some of these guys around. Because I already know I want this derpy guy, because I love him, to be, you know, a little bit more over here. Just derping hard. He needs to be in front of the trees. So he can go back to just derping hard over here. Because I love him. He's one of my favorites. Look at him go. He just looks so happy. Okay. So now doggy plan. He can kind of... Do I have you locked or something? Oh, right, because the snow pile. Okay. I'm gonna make a new layer behind Pippa, but in front of snow pile. So for anything that I want to be in front of here, but behind Pippa. We'll just have a derpy looking little pupper. Kind of doing a derpy little dog things here. I don't know. No, I don't like it. Maybe just, I don't really want anything else over here, though. So, okay, maybe I don't need it. Okay. So I feel like I got all the bunnies and stuff, and some of those things. So I need to figure out the birds. And the birds will be the last ones. Let's see, this big bird here, I might also let him have a little coal thing that he's gonna bring over to the snowman. Don't mind that the snowman's face is weird. Don't worry about it. I haven't cleaned it up yet, and probably won't for some time. What's this? Oh. He didn't get named for some reason. Okay. So yeah, I'll let this little bird be bringing something over to the snowman. And let's see, this guy is actually covering up quite a bit of the cabin. So maybe I do want him lower. Yeah, I think I'll let this guy kind of exist up here in the corner. Okay, let's revisit this one. Yeah, maybe you can be adding a third button. And that'll put his head a little bit lower, and then I can draw his body up a little bit higher. Okay. In that case, maybe I will adjust the stuff on the snowman right now. So this bunny can like be placing the eye here, so I'll put it up a little bit higher than it should be, so this way it's in the bunny's mouth. Yeah, let's figure out exactly what I'm doing here. So this guy will be holding that, the other eye will be here. And I kind of want them to be lumpy and not perfect circles at all. That's just how snowmen should be, in my opinion. And these should all be little rocks. And then he'll have the little piece right there that he will be putting into place on the bottom there. There we go. That looks very derpy, and I approve. So now we have a black hat. I'm gonna pick a color for this, because it should not just be black like this. It's like, yes, I want it to be black, but this is a very pastel image, so it's just going to be a very desaturated blue instead. There we go. That's a pretty good color. And I can use this same color for my rocks here, and I might even add some different colored ones. Like maybe put in some browns. This way they look like, you know, a bunch of little different rocks. All doing different rock things. I'll start with this color, though. Let's see, what other kind of colored rocks are there? Maybe slightly lighter. And some a little bit more brown. I still want them to be pretty dark, though, so it's going to be like a subtle difference. But I think that'll look nice. Just let each one be just a little bit different. And then maybe one that's a lot darker. Just really close to black, like right there. Okay, yeah, I like that. Okay, and then I think this bird was originally supposed to be sitting on Pippa's house, and I like that idea. So I'm gonna go do that. He can stay sitting in that tree, though. He looks fine there. He looks totally fine there. Let me pick the color, though. I don't know why I'm picking the color, if I'm being honest, because I know I'm going to change every single one of these, but, you know, for the sake of my sanity, it probably makes sense. This little guy could be just perched right there, being a bird, doing bird things. Okay, I do want those birds around there, but I'm gonna draw them just a little bit differently. We'll just have some birds flying around in the background. They hear sounds of exciting snowman things happening, and they want to come check it out. As you do when you're a small animal. I think I'll put another little bird just kind of hanging out in this tree here. It's gonna be nice and small. And maybe there's a little bunny or something back there. No, I think this is fine as it is. It's got a little bird on her shoulder, a little bird over there, holding some coal that I haven't drawn yet and won't for a little bit. We got some birds kind of over there. Got a little bird right here. I think this is actually fine. Let's pick some colors. All right, what did deer look like? Kind of a warm caramely brown. Okay. Yeah, all right. So I'm gonna lock the layer, and I will shape these animals to be a little bit better to make it more clear where they're facing and some of these other things. I gotta figure that out now, I think. But I already really like the difference between what I have here and what I had at the start of stream. It's like, if you want to see the difference, you know, just zoom back to the start. I think I have the DVR on, so you can do that, or, you know, wait for the VOD, whichever you prefer. And just, like, nothing really big changed here. I did move the cabin. I guess that's probably the only really big thing. But a lot of this was just, you know, figuring out how I wanted to compose it and just moving things around very slightly. And it's amazing how big of a difference that these things make. I'm always baffled. But this is kind of where my current study goes, and That, and I'm actually being good and doing a little bit of anatomy and construction study. I think that I have reached the level where it's actually kind of relevant to me. Nope, not this color. Warmer. Be warm, my little orange. That's a good color in theory, but I don't think I'd like it for this specifically. So I think I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. Okay, let's up the saturation on it just a little. There we go. I think that's a good deer color. Okay, so I'll start there. What are you? I'm gonna hide the foreground. Okay, so you're a part of little bunny peeking. Don't worry, I'll fix that in a little bit. For now, gotta get these deer the right color. Okay. And then a lot of the ones that I'm seeing have this cute little white belly, and it's adorable, and I want it. So I'm going to give them some little white tummies. How do their legs look? How do those legs look? I think like the back side of them is white. And then their heads. The heads actually have a great deal of like patterning on them. So it can vary quite a lot, but I'll do this one like this, and then we'll give them little dots, and it'll be adorable. I should probably actually detail them first, but you know what? This will help me do that, so... Not detail them, but, actually... know the general structure and all that. But you know what? It's fine. This is cute, and I want to draw it. We'll give them little patterns here. And all that will be cleaned up later. It is not yet time. But I do want the indication there just so I know what's going on in my head. From this one, I think I'm going to put a little bit of the white around his eyes. I think that will be very cute. Let him stand out a little bit more. Whereas this one won't get it, because this one's up next to a snowman. Whereas this one's up next to a black hat and a tree. So I want this one to be a little bit lighter, so that he comes forward a little bit more and stands out a little bit better. Whereas this guy is up against a snowman. So if I want him to be separate from the snowman, I should make him darker. Easy. You want the contrast? You know? If it's up against something light, make it dark. If it's up against something dark, make it light. Easy. Some things are just not very complicated at all. Okay, I'm gonna go draw the deer a little bit before I move on to the bunnies. So what do deer look like? What do deer look like? They are some seriously derpy looking creatures. I kind of need them from the side though. This is a decent shot. Okay. Let's go. I'm not going to worry about the lighting or anything just yet. I just kind of want the general shape of their heads and all these pieces I plan to add. So then he'll have like a little tail hanging out. It'll be down. No one's scared here, so we don't want the tails to be up. Okay, and I just have some references out on Google here to help me out. Trust me, references will make everything much easier. I'm not really copying it. The deer is not even at the same angle. I just need to know where their body parts are. And kind of how their heads are shaped and whatnot. You can see it's not very deer-like yet, but it will get there. It will get there as I keep looking over at what deer look like. And I think the big thing is that he just needs a big, derpy deer ears. There we go. That'll give him a little eye right here. And he'll have a little nose right there too. And again, I'm not trying to get this to be fully rendered or anything, so things are going to look a little dumb. And that's okay. That's not the goal here. The goal is just to get a general understanding of where things are going to be. So everything is still going to be real rough, but I want to make sure I understand. So we'll let this leg kind of come up here. And then we'll see the side of this leg kind of coming over here a bit. And this one will be mostly light, since we're kind of seeing the inside. And then I can connect these parts there, and we'll have something like this. My reference does not have a picture of the legs or anything, so I'm just gonna kind of plop in the basics here and not gonna worry about it. And that should be fine for now. It still looks very dumb, but it's much more deer-like. So that is fine for now. So I'll just repeat this for the other two. So this one, I want to make sure that it looks like his mouth is open a little. I don't actually know how deer open their mouths, but a shape like this should be fine. I might just keep the mouth closed. It doesn't make sense, but I think it'll be cuter. We'll let his derpy little deer ears kind of come up like this. I'll give him little eyes and a little nose. Then I'll just kind of get their a general back shape. Something like this, just with the shoulders kind of up and then the back kind of down. And I'll go from there. This leg I don't think should be there. I'll draw it here. And his little tummy. I think that might have been an animal at one point, but it sure isn't now. And I think he has another leg. Just right through there. I think I'm going to draw it a little bit more like this, though. Make it a little bit less stiff. Okay. And in fact, I think that these legs should be coming a little forward. No, that's not what should be happening. I'm gonna push one back. I'm gonna erase the other. And I'm gonna bring that one a little forward. Much better. Much better. Okay. Again. Still looks a little derpy. It's okay. That's not the stage I'm at here. I just want to get him in. Don't worry. They will be fully rendered later, but I don't want to take the time to fully render them right now. Not when things could still move around. Alright, so now we get to have this little guy just having a grand old time out here. Just having a grand old time, just dancing around like a little derp. There we go. Get his legs up. This will be this color from here, and we'll just let it do this. And then this side will come down more like this. Or maybe I have both legs up. Yeah, I like it with both legs up. That's cute. Let me actually get that shape right there. There we go. That's good for now. Get his little tummy in, doing cute tummy things. And there we go. That's probably sufficient for now. I'll give him a little face. Just because little faces are very cute. And there we go. Okay, let's get the bunnies. The bunnies, I think I'm going to make several different colors. Because, I mean, bunnies come in all sorts of colors and patterns. So let's see, what do I want to do with them? Same with birds. Birds are also pretty different. Let's go look up some bunny references for ideas. We got brown bunnies, we got white bunnies, we got gray bunnies, all kinds of things I can do. All kinds of little things I can do. This one is like the most properly detailed, so I'll start with him. Just kind of hanging out there. I'll draw a little foot here because I think it'll be adorable, and we'll give him a little tail. And then his little face will be doing something like this. And what color should I make you, little bunny? What color should you be? I kind of like you being a little brown bunny, but I need to make you a little bit more brown bunny brown as opposed to the really dark color that I have right now. Which I think is a little bit more around this color here. Give him his little face back there. Okay. Yeah, I think that works for that one. So this one I think was supposed to be a bird at one point, but now it's a bunny. So I'm gonna make him a bunny. What kind of bunny do I want you to be? I think you might be cute as a little gray bunny. Let's make this one a little gray bunny. It's gonna be kind of a dark gray. Just because it's in a white area and I want him to be visible. I'm just going to erase him and draw it again, because I don't think it looks very good right now. So we'll just have his little back legs kind of like this. And I'll let him kind of stand up. Gonna make a little bean here. Alright, so I think that's good there. And I say we have like half a bunny here. The bunny's in the snow. I think I'm gonna make another little brown bunny here. And I think I'm gonna let this guy just kind of roll around in the snow. So I don't know if bunnies do this. I don't think it matters because it's cute. So let's go ahead. I'll draw his little ears here. Little hind legs. And little front legs just kind of flailing. And we'll give him a little tail. And then I think I might make his little tummy kind of white. So I think that'll be really cute. So yeah, this one gets to have a little white tummy. Okay. Let's see this one. Is there any other good dark bunny colors? Yeah, I have some other options for browns. I can pick kind of a little bit more of an orangey brown. Kind of a super warm brown. Probably somewhere like right around here. And that'll be what this bunny does. And maybe I'll give him a couple of little patterns too, because I've seen some that have like little black spots and stuff. So this little bunny gets to sit on Pippa's foot. I want it a little bit more sitting on her foot. There we go. Now that's really sitting on her foot there. That's perfect. We'll give it a little backside there, little tiny hind legs, little tiny front legs, and a little tail. Make his ears a little bit cuter there, because I am not satisfied with that. I know I'm not really refining things too hard yet, but it's gotta be cute, man. It's important. And I'll give him some little black spots. This one gets to be a little spotted bunny, and then the ear will be black. Only one of them, though. The rest are just gonna be like little spots. Okay. This bunny... I think I'll make this one another little gray bunny. He's not going to be super visible, so, you know, this is fine. He's just hanging out. I'll give him cute little ears. Okay. And then this was clearly supposed to be something. I think it was a bird. I will draw it again a little bit later. It kind of got melded with the deer, and that's just a little unfortunate. So I'm going to put him out of his misery, and I'll draw him properly in a little bit. Okay, so this bunny, I think I'm going to make another little brown one. And again, he's kind of hanging out in the foreground. We're not really going to see very much of him, but I will give him cute little ears. It'll just be kind of flopping about, and it'll be adorable. Yes. Okay, and then the little bunny kind of overlooking things here. I think I want him to be a little white bunny. So he's going to be a little white bunny. It's going to be impossible to see. So I'm going to start with him black. I'm going to give him little black spots. So let's get him shaped correctly in black here. And he can just kind of check things out over the hill. He's going to watch this guy dance. And then I'll give him... He's going to be mostly white. But he'll have some black spots, so this way he doesn't blend into the snow. Okay. I think that's all the bunnies. No, there's still the one on her head, and that one can also... This one can just be a white bunny. We'll give him a little face. There we go. He's got a little face. So this guy's going to get rendered very quickly since he's on Pippa's head. So I'm not going to worry about making many more details than that. But yes, that one will get to be a little tiny white bunny. But there we go. I think we got lots of cute little animals just derping around doing cute little animal things. I think I want this bunny to be a little bit bigger. There we go. Just kind of debating where I wanted to put him. And this bunny, I think I want to be a little smaller. Okay. So now let's get some of those birds. Okay, so what kind of birds should I draw here? I want them to be cute birds, so I don't really want to be drawing big crows. But a little bluebird might be cute. So we'll let this guy be a little bluebird. Yeah, although he is quite large for a bluebird, isn't he? I don't know, I think I'd be wrong to use a hawk. especially with all the bunnies around. It would feel a little weird. So I guess it's just going to be an especially large bluebird. That's fine. It can be an especially large bluebird. I think his shape is actually pretty alright. We just got a little derpy looking bird with his wings out. And I think that's sufficient for now. So let's see. So bluebirds, they're like mostly blue and then they have little white tummies. So let's get a nice light blue here. Somewhere around there probably. Yeah, good enough, I think. It's a little more saturated. Yeah, they're actually quite bright. And then I'll give them a little white tummy. So kind of like this. And let's see, the little bird on her shoulder. Maybe a little red one would be cute. Because there are some red birds up in the mountains. Sure, let's make it a little red bird. I think his shape is mostly fine. We just got the little head here. I'll give him a little beak. And then he's just chilling. So his wings are going to be like pressed up against the side. And I think I'm going to make him a little smaller. He's a little big right now. He's just a little big. Okay. So I'll make him a cute little red bird. I don't know what kind of bird this is, but I see several pictures of them. So it's probably legit. Oops. And then they kind of have little black tummies. No, not the tummy, on the face. The little black tummy looked really cute though, so I'm gonna do it anyway. Okay, and all those guys I think look fine. Those ones, I think I can mostly just let them fade into the background. Are you on this layer? No. Okay. Are you on this layer? Yeah, we'll make you look a little better. What kind of birds do I want there? There's some that are just, you know, kind of almost like the deer brown, so I will make him that color. And you know, he'll just be chilling out in a little nest that he has built in this little tree or something. So I'll draw his little tail feathers here, and he's not even looking at all this, but that's fine. And I'll let this one be a little brown bird too. He's just going to be like way back there. I'll give him little wings to make it more obvious that it's a bird. And then we got the little bird sitting on her house. Maybe that's the one. No, I'll make this one blue too. I kind of want him to be seen because I think having a little bird sitting on her house is really cute. I'll give him a little white tummy too. And then I don't think I need this one anymore. Right now it just looks like a smear on the canvas, and that's just no good. So let's get rid of that. Okay, is that everything? Let's go turn on the foreground. Make sure everything still looks good. I think I want this guy to be a little bit more adventurous. So we're gonna take him out of his comfort zone here and move him on over just a little. There we go. Maybe a little higher. And the animals here, I think, will also be blurred a little bit. But I think I'm going to leave them like that for now. But there we go. I think that's the basics of the composition largely wrangled. I think this bird is a little bit big for where it is, so I'm going to shrink him down a little. But I think the rest are pretty cute. So there we go. So I'm not gonna touch anything else for now. I'm gonna, you know, come back to this next time and make sure I still like it. But there's still some time, so this sounds like a good time to kind of do some science with her face and kind of figure out how I want these things to be going. But I feel better about the picture as a whole now. So I think everything is in place, and now I can kind of get back into some details. It doesn't look as bad as I thought it did. But I feel like it's just kind of hazy structurally. And there's something about it that's just not quite working for me. I think some of it might just be... maybe everything's a little too soft? I don't know. Like, it's not terrible, but it's not where I want it. Those times are always a little hard. Because when something's obviously wrong, it's like, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to figure out what I should fix. But right now, I don't think things are very obviously wrong. And I guess before I do her hair, I will want to render that bunny. I don't feel like doing that right now, though. I kind of want to mess around with her face, so that's what I'm gonna do. I need to get better collages of artists that I really like, so that this way I can kind of see how they do things and try to pinpoint why I like them. I've been doing it a little. I need to do it more. But yeah, I do think part of my issue here is just that I am blurring the line between anime and kind of more semi-realist stuff in terms of shading style. Like, I would not call this anywhere near semi-realistic, but I have to make a choice, and right now I'm just kind of trying to do both. And also, I don't think I have this light on her cheek quite right, which is not helping. Well, you know, let's get that first. And then let's see, how do I want to handle the nose here? I'm gonna blend these colors just a little bit more here. And like I said, I just kind of want everything to be real soft, but it's been a long time since I've done real soft stuff. Like, a really long time. So I'm trying to kind of remember some of the things I used to do. And then I think another part of it is that I kind of want her to be a little bit more backlit than she currently is. Which means I have to light things a little bit differently than I am right now. That's okay. That's why I'm kind of trying things. That is exactly why I'm trying things. I think that's a little bit better, though. And I don't think it necessarily makes sense to have this little light in her cheek, but I think it's cute, so I think I want to keep it. I make decisions like that a lot. I think it's fine to keep things just because they're kind of cute. I just want a little bit more shadow around the nose there. That's maybe a little bit too much, but it's okay. I will take it back a little bit. Kind of perfect the shape a little bit there. Get a little bit more shadow around the eyes here. I don't know. How do I feel about that? really don't know. The fact that I'm saying I don't know around the face is actually like a really, really bad thing. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep this. And I'm gonna duplicate the layer. I'm gonna kind of flatten it all out again. But don't worry, I have everything safe and sound. See, if I switch heads, it's all fine. So I can just try things as I please, and I can also use it to get the location of the nose real quick. Somewhere around there. Yep, that seems about right. And I'm gonna try painting some color a little bit more normally. I probably want the nose on a separate layer if I'm gonna do it like this, so... I think a lot of this picture is gonna be like this, where I just kinda try things and see what happens. Okay. That is sufficient for nose right now. So I'm just gotta block in colors. This is what I've been doing lately when I want to make things a little softer. And I do feel like something is kind of lost by doing it like this, which is why I wanted to try some other methods. And since most of this is going to be in shadow, I'm actually just going to color in all her face with the shadow color here. I probably should have done that first, honestly. And then I can add the kind of rim light that I want. Put a little bit of light around the nose. I never particularly liked lighting things quite like this. So it's like a lot of the same ideas. I don't like it. And then the idea from here would be just to make it softer, like kind of like this. In very, very key areas. Which is probably fine. Like I said, it's how I've been doing it lately, but I wanted to try something a little different. I can even put my little triangle on the cheek if I'm so inclined. Yeah, I do feel like the issue is that I'm trying to go... like halfway between something a little bit more anime and halfway between something a little bit more realistic. And they're not meeting well. So I think that's a large reason that I'm just not a fan. But I also don't quite like what I did on the other version either. So that might just be something I have to kinda do a little bit of studying and figure out. I'll leave the layers like this for now. Let's see, is there anything else I kind of want to grab just while I'm here? I guess I can start smoothing out this little bunny. Let's get him just right. Let's get that little bunny. Where are you? Here you are. Okay, so we're gonna make this little bunny look less derpy. I think he's a little bit dark. I'd like you to be a little bit brighter. I want you to be a really, really just bright and happy bunny. Okay. But right now I gotta make you black. Don't worry about it. Just so I can get some of those basic shapes in. What do bunnies look like again? What do they look like? Okay. So yeah, I think most of my shapes are pretty fine here. I'm gonna kill the ears for the time being. just so I can focus on the rest here. And then we'll pick some shadow colors for this guy. Although I guess I kind of want to figure out how I want to shade things before I get too deep into everything here. It is possible that what I have envisioned may not quite work out, and that's fine. No, I meant to select transparency there. Because yeah, we don't see the backside of this bunny here. In fact, I should probably move him in a place where it makes a little more sense, and it's like it's not clipping into her ears. That actually seems kind of important. He can be just a little bit bigger, I think. There we go. Okay. Now it should look a little bit less strange here. I might still need to adjust some things, but it's all good. Just let his body roll into all this a little bit better, but there we go. That should look like it's nice in between her ears. I might have to go back and delete some excess pixels again, but for now, we'll just have this little bunny hanging out in her hair. I don't know why you'd want to put a rodent in your hair, but it's okay. I have just long accepted I'm not a bunny person. But I think I can still make him. There we go. Give him a little foot. That'll kind of hang on a little bit better. Okay. And then I shape the face a little bit better. Gotta make sure it's nice and cute. Gotta get off 133% because it always makes things look bad to me. Now we'll give him some floppy little bunny ears. Nice little floppy ones. What do the floppy ones look like? Okay, so they're still pretty pointy up at the top. I do something kind of like this. There we go. There we go. This is going to be kind of the inside of the ear, but I need to draw it out like that. There we go. Okay, now I can make him a white bunny again. And that's where he will sit. Okay, I'll go turn on my layers again. It's all a little bit off since everything moved around so much. But I think I am quite happy with how this looks compositionally now. Let me go ahead and hide my swatch. And now I just kind of got to figure out what does it mean to be a nice, softly shaded picture. I don't know. I thought I did, but I was wrong. Such things happen. But yeah, it's like I have something specific in mind, but I could not, for the life of me, tell you what it actually is. And maybe it's just a sign that I need to look more into the semi-realist end of things. But I don't want it to be semi-realism. It's like when I look at how I shaded myself here, I think something around there is fine. So it's stuff that I could already do. But, you know, art is hard. And there's clearly something in my mind and a fundamental disconnect somewhere. And I kind of got to figure out what that is. So you might see a lot of flailing next time. Oh, hey. I just noticed that, I was looking at one of my tabs, and, in order to potentially look up more reference images, and I saw the tab for when I was looking at Rooney Rue's references, and I see that my drawing of her is actually really high in the search results. Nice. I'm happy. I hope many people get to see it, because I rather liked that picture. But yeah, when I look at it, I'm still not quite satisfied with my soft shading style. It was that picture that made me want to revisit how to shade things softly, because there's certain parts I'm just not quite happy with. Art is hard. But this is kind of what I mean. I wouldn't... Last time, yeah, yesterday, someone, asked me, how do you study anatomy? And I was like, you don't. Just draw your picture. Then look at it and decide what you like and what you don't like. And then learn what you have to do to fix the things that you don't like. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Because there are parts of it that I rather like, and there are parts of it that I rather don't. So you know what? I just gotta analyze it a little bit more. I'm gonna go look for artists that I like, and that are doing what I kind of want to try, and see if I can understand why I like them. I've got a few pulled up. So we'll see what I can figure out. But I guess this is where I will stop for now, since I got some stuff to figure out, and I have to, leave and do things soon anyway. But there we go. Composition, wrangled. I think most of my colors are pretty okay. I might have a little bit of color correction to do, but I think I can do most of that at the end. And, all the lighting and stuff is still off, but, that's normal since I do most of my lighting at the end. But here we go. It is time for further art growth, and that is why art is hard right now, because I want to figure out a thing. But alright, I'll go ahead and stop here for today. So, thank you all for coming, and I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all tomorrow.